We were told STEM was the safe path. Get the degree, be practical, be smart, and you'll be fine. That was the deal. Science, technology, engineering, math. That was our golden ticket. That was the responsible choice. This was supposed to be the thing that guaranteed you a future. Because apparently the difference between success and failure was just picking the right acronym at 18. And a lot of people did exactly that. They followed the advice. They picked the practical major. They did what they were told. Student loan debt just hit $1.7 trillion. Entry-level jobs now require 3 to 5 years experience. And graduates are taking jobs completely unrelated to their degrees. You have whole industries shrinking faster than programs can adapt. And when I say all these things, the first major that comes to mind after describing all these things is probably something like art history, philosophy, psychology. But I'm actually talking about computer science. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, recent computer science graduates are sitting at a 6.1 unemployment rate. Computer engineering is even worse at 7.5. And just so we're clear on what that actually means, art history graduates are sitting at 3%. Philosophy majors are sitting at 3.2. The degree that was supposed to beat art history is now losing to it. Nearly 1 in 6 computer science graduates are underemployed, meaning they're working jobs that don't even require the degree they just spent 4 years and a pile of debt on. For example, one graduate applied to over 6,000 jobs, only got 13 interviews and 0 offers. He was so desperate he applied to McDonald's and was rejected there because lack of experience. And somehow, they all ended up stuck, burned out, underpaid, ghosted by interviews, or working in the field that they were going for and already trying to figure a way out. And if that's you, you're not crazy. This isn't just you messing something up, because a lot of people followed the safe path and still ended up in the exact same situation that everyone warned them about, which raises the pretty uncomfortable question. If STEM was supposed to be the safe option, why does it feel like so many people got trapped in it? Now, before someone in the comments starts acting like I'm saying STEM is worthless, no, that is not my point. The problem was never STEM. The problem was what we turned it into. We didn't sell it as one option among many. We sold it as the only option. The fallback plan, the safety net, the thing you were supposed to choose if you wanted stability. And that's where this starts to break down. Because once you stop treating STEM like a field and start treating it like a guarantee, people stop asking better questions. Do I even like this? What job does this actually lead to? How much more school does this require? What does the job market actually look like when I graduate? Instead of the whole conversation just becoming, get the degree, you'll be set. And for a lot of people, that turned out to be complete bullshit. Now, we love to make fun of art degrees, and rightfully so. But nobody wants to talk about the biology major who just hit their senior year and realized, oh, this isn't a career, this is step 1. You don't graduate into a job, you graduate into, have you considered applying again? Grad school, med school. Something else that's going to cost you more money, adds another 2 to 6 years to your plan, and if you don't go that route, you start looking at jobs like lab tech, research assistant, these entry-level roles that somehow still want that 3 to 5 years experience. And they're paying you just enough to keep you afloat, but not enough to actually make you feel like the degree you just got is being paid off. It's not useless, it's just incomplete. Which would have been helpful to know before you committed 4 years in a pile of debt to. If your degree requires another degree to function, that is not a path. That is a subscription model. So before you lock into something like this, ask, what job does this lead to immediately? If the answer is vague, academic, or starts with, well, eventually, you might want to slow down and rethink it. STEM wasn't just pitched as a good option, it was also pitched as the responsible one, the safe one, the smart one, the major your parents could brag about without having to explain to everyone in the family what exactly you were studying. Except, you need to realize, there is no safe option. There are layoffs in tech, there's burnout in engineering, there's whole specialties that change, shrink, and disappear every few years. Ask anyone who specialized in something hyper-specific 5 years ago. That barely matters now. We didn't just recommend STEM. We sold it like it was immune to the same chaos as everywhere else. And when you choose a career based on the promise of certainty, you're usually not choosing from interest. You're choosing from fear. And that fear is a terrible career advisor, because fear gets people into fields that they don't enjoy, they don't connect with, and feels trapped the second things stop looking stable. At some point, the internet collectively decided, learn how to code. And to be fair, that wasn't a terrible piece of advice. Until everyone and their mom heard it. Boot camps exploded, college campuses expanded programs, career switchers flooded into tech, and suddenly high demand turned into traffic. Now, entry level means 3 to 5 years of experience, multiple frameworks, a portfolio, and preferably you've already built something impressive on your own time for an entry level job, which is always fun because apparently entry level now means we don't want to train you, so you're not just learning a skill, you're competing with people who have been doing it for longer, people who switch careers into it, and people who are just flat out better than you at it. Here's an important distinction. High demand does not mean easy access, and that's the part nobody explains when they tell a teenager just go into STEM. Now let's talk about the thing everyone is always currently arguing about, and that's AI. Now, before this turns into the usual AI is ruining everything conversation, yeah, people use it. Not because it replaces skills, but because more and more jobs are starting to expect it in every industry. You're already seeing it in job descriptions, experience with AI tools preferred, familiarity with AI workflows. It's not optional anymore. So this isn't about being for or against AI. It's about understanding that the rules are changing, whether you like it or not. Here's where things get messy. AI is incredibly good at helping produce work faster, but it also is making it really easy to produce work without actually understanding what you're doing. You've got people generating code they can't debug, designers prompting visuals they can't recreate, people calling themselves AI experts after a few weeks with ChatGPT without fully understanding what these tools actually can do. That's where the problem starts, because there's a difference between using a tool and outsourcing your understanding. If AI is doing all the thinking for you, you didn't build a skill, you rented one. And rented skills don't hold up under pressure. They fall apart the second something goes off script. So the move isn't to avoid AI. The move is to use it the right way. Use it to move faster. Use it to explore ideas. Use it to extend what you already know. But don't use it to skip learning the fundamentals, because the people who are actually valuable in this environment are the ones who can tell when the AI is wrong. The degree that you just got used to mean something, but it's different than what it means now. Now it mostly means you showed up and finished, which is fine. That matters. But it's not enough. Jobs that used to require degrees now require experience. Jobs that require experience now want portfolios. Jobs that want portfolios also want proven impact. And somehow, all of this still gets bundled into an entry-level job. You don't graduate and get a job. You get access upon graduation, access to compete. You're now allowed to apply. That's it. Congratulations. You've unlocked the privilege of competing. So stop thinking your degree is what makes you employable. It's not. It's the baseline. Everything else you do while earning it, around it, or after it is actually what separates you. And just in case you thought you were done, you're not, because now you have to keep up with everything. New tools, new platforms, new certifications, new must-learn skills every 6 months. React turned to Next.js to whatever replaces that. Google Analytics turned into GA4 and whatever fresh headache comes next. Tableau, Power BI, Looker, pick your favorite flavor of dashboard fatigue. And this is where people get stuck. They spend so much time trying to keep up with everything that they never go deep on anything. You end up permanently learning, but never really advancing. You didn't build depth, you built familiarity. So here's a better move. Pick a core set of tools, get actually good at them, then expand with intention. Because chasing every trend is how you permanently stay behind. And now we get to the part that quietly is changing everything. You're no longer competing locally anymore. You are competing globally. Companies can hire from anywhere. Talent comes from everywhere. The playing field just got a whole lot bigger. This is not blaming workers. This is about understanding how companies actually think. Because they're not asking, how do we create stable careers for our workers? They are asking, how do we get the best talent at the best cost? And sometimes that leads to situations that feel a little absurd from the outside. Like when a company announces layoffs while hiring those same positions with someone cheaper, or cutting one team while expanding another. And if you're the person who bought into the idea that your degree was supposed to equal stability, that feels insane. But those two are completely different business decisions. Layoffs are about cutting costs in one area, hiring is about filling needs somewhere else. It makes perfect sense for the company, just sometimes it makes zero sense to us. Which means your competition is no longer other grads from your school. It's whoever fits the company's needs right now, anywhere in the world. So what do you do with that? You stop trying to be interchangeable, because interchangeable gets replaced. So, if STEM isn't the guaranteed path we were all told it was, what are you actually supposed to do with that information? Because this is not about panicking, and it's not about deciding everyone in the major is equally broken, and none of it matters. It's about seeing the system differently enough to make better decisions. So, what do you do with all of this? First, you need to pick an idea that is not the safe major, because there isn't one. There is only different types of risks. Number two, look at actual job postings before you commit to anything. Not the fantasy version, not the college brochure version, but the actual market. Because some degrees do lead to jobs, and some lead to more decisions. Third, build something while you're in school. Anything. Projects, freelance, internship, bad work, half decent work, but make something real. Because bad experience is still better than no experience. And finally, you gotta learn how to adjust. Because the people who make this work are not the ones who picked perfectly at 18. They're the ones who realized halfway through, oh, this isn't exactly what they sold me, and they pivot before they're too deep to move. The problem was never STEM. STEM matters. It is valuable, and it can absolutely lead to a great career. But we didn't treat it like an option. We treated it like it was a guarantee. And there are no guarantees anywhere. Not in STEM, not design, not anywhere. The system didn't fail you. It just wasn't designed for you in the first place. So it turns out the real trap was thinking any degree would do the work for you. Good luck. That's all I got.